what is the new institutionalism? Is very simple. Only what is the new institutional approach of comparative politics? First, let's understand that, and then we can explain. See, what is new institutionalism means? Institutions where, because there is nothing like old institutionalism. You very well know that institutions are the part of study of comparative politics. And if you remember the beginning of traditional approach of comparative politics, traditional approach of comparative politics begins from the study of institutions. Traditional approach of comparative politics begin with the study of institution. But you also remember how they want to understand the institution through constitution. They want to understand institution through constitution and through rule of law, and they want to understand the institutions of through constitution through liberal democratic context. Their understanding of institution was more limited because it means their institution means state. What does it mean by institution? State, legislature, executive, judiciary. Also, there may be institution in form of culture too. And that is the reason institution may be soft too, institution may be hard too. See, if we are believing something because of tradition, because of opinion, that also become institution. Because see, like caste. Caste is written nowhere, but it become institution. So sometime the thing which is not written anywhere, that become institution. It means because people believe in that. It means liberal, democratic, and traditionally what they have focused over the institution means study of state, study legislature, executive, judiciary. This is form of institution. But again I am saying that, or the mode of electoral system, but there may be soft institution too in form of opinion, in form of belief and values of society. That is also kind of soft institution. But new institution, how new institution approach is different from the older one. It is a fair here to compare between the new institution and institution. It means after the traditional approach, there's a beginning of modern approach, and we have studied beginning of modern approach. And just I want to remind the fact that modern approach too much emphasize over modern approach emphasize over system, structural function, political sociology, political economy. It means somehow they have overlooked the institutions. Therefore, you will realize the fact that modern approach overlook the institution because they want to understand culture, they want to understand economy, and they are very much willing to understand not only culture and economy, but system, structure, function. Therefore, this new institutional approach is somehow again highlight the importance of institution. And here institution means there may be state too, there may be institution means, so they are again rediscovering the institution like a state, like a bureaucracy, and then you can also write, because there is soft institution, because what is the belief of people, like caste is also institution, religion is also an institution, child marriage is also an institution which is written nowhere, but because of belief and customs of the people. But as far as the hard institutions are concerned, so state, bureaucracy, and legislature, executive, political parties, these are all the institution, and that is good approach. Therefore, how theories impact the study of politics, then you will realize that while studying Indian government and politics, you look, on the one hand there is a caste and society, there's a political economy. If you want to replicate entire comparative politics through Indian government and politics, you will realize that there is a mention of political economy in your syllabus of government and politics of India, second paper of first part, where Gandhian political economy, Nehruvian planning development, neoliberalization, green revolution. That is the political economy of India. In political sociology, caste, ethnicity, religion, and politics, political sociology. And party pressure groups. Look what happened earlier. It means after 90s, there was too much focus over the process. When what is a party? And process means what we have studied till now: Eastern, Ahmed and Powell, power politics, process. But again, if you look in our syllabus of second paper and of first part of second paper in GS2, now again there is a mentioning of CAG, NHRC, UPSC, Election Commission, and that is impact of neo-institutionalism. It means we can't deny the importance of institutions. And because see what happened, because in order to rejecting the traditional approach of politics, and they became the modern approach of comparative politics, they became more extremist. Modern approach of comparative politics, in order to searching the practice, in order to searching the functions, in fact they have forgotten the heart of the political system, and that is undoubtedly institution, because without institution how we can understand environment, and without environment we can't understand institution. So first, it means this is a rediscovery of institution which was once highlighted by the traditional approach of comparative politics, which was neglected by the modern approach of comparative politics. And second, they want to study institution but not through constitution, because this is new. Institution is okay, but why it is new? Because they don't want to focus over constitution, they don't want to only focus over the liberal and democratic nation, and they are not focusing over state and government. So they are focusing over all kind of institution, and through not through constitution but through rational choice theory, but through the principle of economics. This is new. They want to understand institution through rational choice theory, that is developed by economists, and then cultural theories, and then structural theories. This is a three-way to understand the institution. This is three types to understand the institution. And look, this is a new. How they understand the institution? Through constitution, through law first. And their understanding of institution was more legislature, executive, judiciary, state. But their understanding of institutions broader. They are not only studying state and bureaucracy, but they want to study political party too. All kind of institution. And they don't want to see what is the constitution, what is the law, and they are applying some modern method to study the institution. And therefore that is become neo-institutionalism. That becomes neo-institutionalism. And then what is rational choice theory, what is cultural theory? It's very simple. See, rational choice theory means Menker-Olson. Propounder of rational choice theory is Menker-Olson, and propounder of neo-institutional theory is March and James March and Olson, Menker-Olson. They wrote in New Institutionalism in 1984. So propounder of J. March and Menker-Olson. And see, there are three varieties of New Institutionalism. And first one is a rational choice theory. Rational choice theory simply means, because it is somehow borrowed by economic principle, the principle of economics. And rational choice simply means individual are basically a rational actor. Each and every was a rational actor. And being a rational actor, we always try to maximize our interest. So we are our interest maximizer. And simply, in market, there is no ethics runs in the market. Because what is the basic ethics for maximizing our profit? And similarly, if we want to understand the institution, we have to understand this very nature of human being. Therefore, if they want to understand the behavioralism, they want to understand the nature of human beings, somehow they are focusing over behavioralism. And again, they are synthesizing behavioral theory with traditional theory. Because the nature of human being. That was a subject matter of behaviorist school. So behaviorist school focus over the study of human nature, but now they're combining study of human nature with the study of institution. And rational choice simply says that if each and every person want to maximize their own interest, therefore, what is a how we can understand the bureaucracy? If you want to understand bureaucracy, you always remember that bureaucracy will always try to preserve their own interests rather than serving the society. This is way how they want to understand institution with the help of analyzing the individual behavior. Analyzing individual behavior, and what is their assumption? Individual behavior is rational and they want to maximize their own benefit. That is rational choice theory. And second, cultural institutionalism. Second description of institution is coming from culture. Look, whenever we are saying that rational choice theory, for rational choice theory, individual become important. Individual comes in center, and we assume that whatever choice of individual is, that is rational. Choice of individual become primary, but cultural neo-institutionalism believe that culture and values, they are also kind of soft institution. Culture values are essentially important factor in order to understanding any institution rather than human behavior. Because whenever any institution exists, see, there is a culture. Because if we want to understand the British political system, why there was no hue and cry in the British Parliament from past 300 years? Because of the culture. Without understanding culture, if we want to apply the rational choice theory, how we can understand the pressure group? How we can understand the interest group? By applying rational choice theory, how we can define interest group? Interest group are there for preserving their own interest. Interest group are there for preserving their own interest, and that we are analyzing because of the behavior of human being. But that is not appropriate. That may be truth to some extent. But how we can study that? The pressure group, interest group are considered as something negative for democracy in France, but very positive in US. Interest group or the method of lobbying is considered something very positive for the development of democracy in US. But same thing is portrayed as a negative in France. Therefore, how without understanding culture we can understand democracy? Look, some Muslim nation, they are not favor the secular form of government, and because of culture, because from time immemorial they are practicing something, and they don't want to accept anything which is imposed them from the external, from the other side of nation state or from the external world. So this tells that culture is a very important factor for understanding the human. It means economy is not only helpful for understanding human behavior. You will surprised know that sometime we engage in a work which may be disadvantageous for us. Economically it is harmful, but culturally we are engaged in that. It means that is second way to understand the institution through is cultural institutionalism. So individual is not only a kind of maximization of profit. This is not only motivating factor for individual. If you want to understand the behavior of individual, culture is very important. And without culture, we can't understand the institution. Culture shapes the institution. Therefore, some nations are very much practicing democracy, but in some nations it is very hard to root the democracy. It is because of culture. And you can get the numerous example. Look, in France, there is a culture of, if you look the entire Franciscan culture, all the revolution were violent in France. But look, just opposite in England. Revolution also occurred peacefully. That was glorious revolution. It is because of culture. Next, is structural, how we can understand institutions through structure. And Theda Skocpol. The rational choice was more supported by Menker Olson. Structural theory supported by Theda Skocpol. And Theda-Skocpol emphasized over the structure of a state. And Theda-Skocpol says that why revolution occurred in 1991, why Soviet Union was disintegrated. And when there was a disintegration of Soviet Union, most of the communist government collapsed. Most of the communist government collapsed at that time. And you will be surprised to know that, but same time when students gathered over Tiananmen Square in 1989 for demand of democracy, and Chinese government suppressed that revolt, and they have in fact tortured the students, they have brutalized the students, used unproportionate power and force over the students, and that is analyzed by Theda-Skocpol. And Theda-Skocpol says that structure of a state means what is the form of government, relation between government and party, council of minister, president, prime minister, that is the structure of a state. And what even army in China, to army, Xi Jinping is the head of army too, and now Xi Jinping is a very powerful person, and therefore that structure of state somehow suppressed the potential revolt in China. And the structure of Russia, that was very big. A structure of Russian state was not sufficient enough to suppress that revolution, because political parties were having some other ideas. There was a decentralization of power. Gorbachev was thinking something differently. Therefore, Soviet Union, Eastern European nations, their structure became very weak. And because of weakening the structure, a revolution occurred. But that was not possible in the China, because institutions were very, very hard in China. It means that is a new institutional approach of comparative politics.